the scent of the human female to the point where she becomes irresistible to all human males. She can go to the store, the supermarket checkout, and like, the cashier, the bagger boy, they're all just sniffing her, and they're just all become enamored with her instantly. This could last for days and weeks, where everywhere she goes, everyone just falls in love with her. This bespeaks an extraordinary understanding and control of the humans by the reptilians and other aliens. It means that they have a thorough understanding of our physiology, of our neurology. Barbara Bartholic and I always laugh at all these efforts, at all these UFO groups. We're going to gain contact with the ETs. We're going to form a UFO group, and we're going to, form a contact group. Well, obviously, from what I've been telling you, that the ETs and the reptilians have already come in contact with us. So it's academic to try to form a group to make contact with the ETs. They've been contacting us. They've been manipulating us. It's always been like that. Now, I've told you a bit about how reptilians operate as far as a vis-a-vis human woman. Let me talk to you a bit about how reptilians will create a serial murderer. Again, the reptilians have attained control of the surface through the manipulation and control of the human gene pool, imbuing certain characteristics and behaviors within human hybrids that will advance their agenda, both on a family scale and a societal global scale. What the reptilians do with a male reptilian hybrid is gradually, over a period of time, they can turn that person into a pedophile or a serial murderer, or they can even change the sexual orientation of a given abductee. Now, please don't hear what I didn't say. I didn't say that the reptilians, a gay person, is gay because the reptilians made him gay. No. In some cases, though, as I will point out in a moment, the reptilians can manipulate someone sexually, physically, and so forth, and cause them to not only change their orientation, but in extreme cases also to have a sex change operation. Barbara Bartholic has worked with a number of guys who, over a period of time, eventually changed sexes. Now, how is this done? Now, the reptilians hold a tactical high ground, and the reason for that is we have to sleep, whereas reptilians operate, for all intents and purposes, a timeless realm. Many of them are interdimensional in nature. What a reptilian will do to a male, in our example, is the reptilian will enter into the body of a male and quickly take over his astral dreamscape. The reptilian will eroticize the dreamscape, pervert the dreamscape. Let me give you an example. The guy finds himself in a dream. He's walking around in an empty household. No furniture. He's walking around wondering what he's doing there, what's going on. He walks into a room, and suddenly he sees a gal sitting on a recliner, an easy chair. And then she suddenly poses in such a way that is sexually provocative. He immediately gets the impression that she wants to have intercourse with him. So, like most randy males, he positions himself in such a way as to engage in intercourse with her. The moment in the dream, remember, the reptilian is inside of his body. His ethereal body of a reptilian has penetrated a sleeping human, has taken over the astral dreamscape. And now the guy is at the point where he's about to engage in intercourse with the woman. And the moment he initiates intercourse, the reptilian sodomizes him from behind. And very often, at the same time that he initiates intercourse with the dream woman, not only does he get sodomized from behind, but the object of his desires morphs, shapeshifts into something entirely repulsive. It turns into his sister, his daughter, into a hermaphroditic type being, characteristics of both sexes. He wakes up, oh my God, right? He's feeling this icky tingly sensation all over his body, from his toes all the way to the top of his head. What's happening is that's the entity. He's feeling the entity. And then he may see like a dark shadow, a dark cloud above him. And then the entity will gradually start to leave his body. And that will manifest in the form of this icky, tingly feeling in his arms, back of his neck, and what have you. He thinks nothing of it. It's just some weird dream. He shunts off the experience in that back shelf labeled, "Don't worry about it, too weird." Let's say the next night or 2 nights later, he has a similar dream. He's about to engage in intercourse with another dream lover. And the moment he begins to initiate intercourse, once again, he's sodomized from behind. And once again, the entity the person he's about to have sex with, shapeshift into something that he's totally repulsed by. Now, you can imagine if this process continues for days and weeks, sometimes months, is it any surprise that the guy develops a sexual dysfunction? Is it any surprise that the guy develops erectile dysfunction? Because in his mind, he's made a cognitive association between heterosexual sex on the one hand and extreme rectal pain on the other, and like all these fears of horror and shame in between. Now, there are variations of this. Sometimes he will find himself with a gal who's the object of his dreams, and he may not be sodomized, but what will happen is, see, there's a parallel physical, sexual, paraphysical manipulation that's going on within the human. The reptilian is manipulating him at all these different levels, psychologically, sexually, physically. For example, he may have a dreamscape experience where he's just surrounded with extraordinarily beautiful women who all want to have sex with him. And he'll look down and he's suitably feeling randy. And he may be hugging or caressing a woman. Next thing you know, that woman shapeshifts into a little child. And then the voice in his head, which is the reptilian, is telling him, "Go ahead." Now, he's already excited. He's already fully aroused from what happened moments before. But now, instead of a beautiful woman in his arms, it's a small child. It could be his own daughter. And the message in his mind is, "Go ahead. Nobody's going to know. Go ahead and do it. You want to do it, don't you?" Okay, now let's expand upon that further. As I said earlier, Ted Bundy was one of many people. Did this thing turn off or what? That's a 95, by the way, see? Oh, well. The point I'm making is there are physical characteristics which are common amongst reptilian hybrids and serial murderers and pedophiles in particular. You always hear, these, oh, shoot, modern technology. You always hear these FBI profilers and these psychologists saying that, oh, serial murderer, there's no way you can tell who they are. They look like everybody else. Complete nonsense. Okay, there are notable physical characteristics. Andre Chikatilo, I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Now, take a look at the features, okay? Hooded eyelids, very often a pronounced brow above the eyebrows, high-set cheekbones, very often eyes sunk deep in the eye sockets, okay? Now, who was Andre Chikatilo? Well, he killed upwards of 300 children in Moscow, devoured many of them, okay? Now, I'm running out of time here, but there's something you have to understand. The reptilian overlordship and the reptilian control of the human gene pool make such horrors as the institutionalized global sex slavery, satanic rituals, what goes on at the Bohemian Grove, so on and so forth. It makes it understandable. Because during these, like satanic rituals, for example, these human reptilian hybrids, they're having intercourse. They're having sex orgies with decapitated bodies and disemboweled bodies laying around. Now, to you or I, that's extraordinarily repulsive and horrifying. But to them, it's exactly the opposite. Reptilian human hybrids and serial killers in particular, they get off on inflicting sadistic pain onto others. It's part of the reptilian concept of human ownership. They get off on inflicting pain. They get off on torturing and killing. Ted Bundy, I'll show a